Hello, good day everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today I will be speaking or talking on enumerables methods on Ruby. We have different enumerable methods like the each statement, the select, the each with index, the my all, none, any, inject, or sometimes known as reduce method. So today I'm going to start with the each method to explain how it works first. I would like us to take a look on how the original each method works before we can create our own. So if we have an array of numbers, like I'm going to use the Ruby command prompt. So if we have an array of numbers like 2, 3, 4, 5, and we do each statement and press enter, you notice it returns this enumerate method, which we are going to look uh look on look at how we are going to implement that on our own. That is without a block, but if you give it a block, say you want to loop through n times and just output the n, you have the number and it gives you back the exact array. So those are some of the things we are going to look at. So if you do that for a range 0 to 5, you will have the same result. If you do that to a hash value, say high, you can just put anything, hello, and close this. So you have literally the same result. So first we're going to create, let's get to work. We're going to create the enumerable method. I wish I can increase this font size a bit larger. Zoom in. Okay, this is nice. So I'm sure you can see perfectly well now. So you have module, the module name, enumerable. So we're going to have to place them inside the enumerable module. So for the command to understand it very well, so we're going to we define a method with using my each. It's not going to take any value, and so we have this thing called self. Self is when it's like itself. I think that's the best way to understand it. Itself, and Ruby, unlike every other programming a language that you have to explicitly put a return statement, you can Ruby, I think it implicitly puts that inside your statement, so you don't have to put a return. If you do this, it's like a redundant statement that you're saying return two times. So with just self alone, it will return the value that you want. So I'm going to test this so you better understand what self means. Self means it's returning itself back to you. So if you do a range like we did earlier, okay, no, I'm just going to run this command here. So let's run our my 0 to 5, my each, without any block of code. Come on. So you have Ruby enum.rb. Oh, I need to print this out for you to see. So it returns back itself. So you can also have an array 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 my each. Come on, can you stop please? So it returns back the same thing. I'm going to have my hash, just put this Hello. Hi. Hey. Uh, you. So you have PHS that my age. So if you run Ruby that RB, so it returns back the same thing to you. That is what self does. So what if we do self dot class? Everything in array is an object, so self dot class, we want to see what element. So the first element, it identified it's a range, it's an array, it's a hash. So what are we gonna do with that? It's going to really help us understand the whole idea of what we are dealing with. So and each of them has length. So I think if you put something like length, what does that give us? I don't know. Error. Okay, so now let's do the main deal now. We're going to check each of the item, what it does. So we could say array, we could say array is equals to self if array if self dot class is an array, and we could set this same array is to be self to be to range. So we are converting this array a range to an array if this command here is simply say convert it to an array if self dot class is equals to range. And the other one we are saying just flatten flatten if self dot class is equals to a hash. So what does that mean? Let's just return the array. It means for something like the hash that we have here, look at this hash. Now this is a hash. You have hello, hi. So that means when it flattens it, it's going to convert it to array. 0 to 5 is going to convert it to array. So let's see what it does. So you see 0 to 5, it converts it to an array. This, it converts it to an array. The hash, it flattens it to an array. So we can all deal with it as a simple array. It's easy. So I hope that makes sense. So we can now deal with that array as a typical array. All of them becomes an array. So you can find a much more way to refactor this to maybe make this code a lot smaller or something. But for the case of demonstration, I hope it makes sense. So you have a counter. Now we can do a simple while loop and say while array at length, whatever it is, they are all now converted to array. Array at length is equals to sorry, while counter, this counter right here is less than array at length. We want this loop to continue, so but we have to end our counter as soon as it's greater than the array at length. So in this case, we are going to use the yield command. Yield command, I think when we go further, I will explain what it means mostly. But it's kind of simple because it's what is going to be yielded to you. Like what is going to, that block of code that you are going to have as a value for you, like the output that you are going to have. So it's going to loop through this right now. Now you notice when we're testing out, we had a value that when a block of code is not given, I'm going to run that again, RIB. So if you have something like 0 to 5 and you run each statement, now there is no block of code given. Block of code is simply this block in this curly bracket, what you have here. So if I say puts n, now that is a block of code. This area is a block of code. Now, but when this area is not given, this block of code is not given, what happened is simply returns this enum thing, right? Makes sense. So we don't want to run this code unless a block of code is given. We just want to return this enum of the particular code. So we would have this command return, you convert it to enum, unless you have block given. Makes sense? Okay, I see. So we have, if you run my each, now you see the enum returns all of this because there is no block of code given here, right? And there's, so it doesn't get to the next line. The return statement cuts it off right here before it even returns this other statement. So if we add a block of code right here, say let's say x, and you say puts x, now the yielded value, this is it. So what is this x? This is what will be yielded, that value. This is the x, the yielded value. So that's what will be yielded. So you see this one returns perfectly well. You could do the same for all of them. You have block of code on each of them, and you run it again, and you have everything perfectly well. I hope this makes perfect sense for you. So that is how to simply handle your each statement, how it runs and how it's given. So if you have any question, you drop your comments in the box. In the next enum method that we're going to tackle is going to be the my each with index. So we're going to simply tweak this code. It's very easy. It's nothing to worry about. Thank you very much for listening to this channel. Do well to subscribe. See you in the next video.